So, what's up, y'all? Real John King again. Welcome to another episode of a random road story. Hey, this story here is about a comedian friend of mine named Charlie Wiener. Charlie Wiener is a comic out of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, the reason why I'm bringing Charlie Wiener up on this story is because I think I need to mention the fact that Charlie went out of his way one time to stand up for what he thought was injustice, and he thought that it was something that needed to be corrected. Now, right now, we got a lot of racial tension going on in the world, not just here in the U.S., but all over the world. And this was before any of these serious hot button racial issues was in the forefront. This was back in the '90s sometime. I was working in West Virginia, working at a little club in West Virginia, a little nightclub. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because uh, Charlie had a lot to lose that night for standing up for me. Now, what happened was I went up and I was doing my show because I was the opening act. Charlie was the closer. And the place was kind of packed. And I was doing a good job for the most part. People was laughing, enjoying the show, but there was a group of guys there. And just to give proper context to the story, it was white guys. Now, just so y'all know, I never had any issues with anybody from West Virginia. I never had any racial issues. I'm not saying that there's not racist people there. I'm just saying the place that I worked, I didn't never had any problem up to this point. And but for some reason, these guys they have been drinking quite a bit, and I don't know if they were being racial or if they was just just under the influence of alcohol or actually what the deal was. All I know was I was getting heckled. I mean, I was getting really heckled. I was trying to do my show in between the heckles, and I was getting some racial remarks, thrown at me from this group of guys. But I took it all in stride, man. I was still getting laughs, but it was just kind of hard to do that show, with all the stuff that was coming from the group of guys there at the club. So after I ended my show, Charlie came up on stage. Now, Charlie could have just went to his show and just act like nothing happened, but because of the kind of person he is, he wasn't really concerned about his show. He was concerned about what had happened during my show. Now, once again, Charlie had a lot to lose, man, because he sold merchandise. He could have put that in jeopardy. He also could have put himself getting into an altercation and maybe getting into a fight or whatever. He was putting his uh, safety in jeopardy. He was putting the fact that he might not have been able to come back and work that club again. So he had a lot to lose, man. But for whatever reason, man, and I think Charlie's just this kind of guy, man. He risked it all to try to correct what he thought was wrong. So when he got on stage, man, the first thing he said was, "Hey, man, I think you guys that heckled John, man, was wrong. Say, John's a good dude. He's a good comedian, and y'all said some shit that shouldn't have been said from people that's out in the audience." He say, "So I'm gonna tell y'all right now, um, I'm not accepting none of that shit from y'all. And I think y'all owe him an apology. And in the future, when people come through here, man, of another race, I don't think y'all should, be disrespectful like that to him." So one guy responded to him, man. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something that was kind of harsh. And Charlie wasn't backing down, man. He said, I tell you what, man. He said, you talk all the shit you want out in that audience. He said, but just as long as you don't approach the stage and this, because if you put your foot on the stage, then this is my domain up here. So the dude started walking towards the stage, and Charlie was a guitar player, and he had a guitar that was on a guitar stand behind him. And as the dude got closer to the stage, he kind of stopped, and Charlie went back and picked his guitar up, man. And he said, "I already told you, man. You talk all the shit you want from that audience, but once you put your foot on this stage, then you in my territory, and I'm going to defend it, and I'm going to defend my friend John. And he say, so you just go ahead and make whatever move you want to make. But I think the dude knew that Charlie was serious, so he didn't come on that stage, man. And he went back and and where his friends were. And Charlie did his show, man. He had a great show, had a super show. And at the end of the show, man, and he came off stage, and I was like, Charlie, you didn't really have to do that, man. He said, well, yeah, I did have to do that. He said, we was in this show together, man, and I wasn't gonna just let them, be disrespectful like that. And so he said, if something jump off, it's just jump off, but I ain't backing down, man. I'm gonna speak up for what's right. So I have to take my hat off to Charlie Wiener, man. He stood up against injustice. He stood up against racism, and he stood up for his friend that was working on the show with him. So, Charlie, I want to take my hat off and give a shout out to you, brother, because you always been that dude, man. And ever since I met you, you was that dude. And I haven't seen you in a while, but I know you still that dude, man. I see you out there online, man, fighting for justice. So I appreciate you. And if y'all ever get a chance to see Charlie Wiener, go check him out. Very funny dude, man. Been around longer than I have, probably 39, 40 years doing comedy, still solid. So look for that name, Charlie Wiener, man. He's a solid stand-up brother, and he's the kind of person that you want to support. Once again, Charlie, thanks a lot, man. I know it happened a long time ago, but I will never forget that. That's it for me, folks.